This video is about how functions return values that can be used outside the function. The only way to get a value out of a function so that you can use it elsewhere is to return something. But first, we're going to look at a function from the previous video that does not return anything. So it's okay to write a function that does not return anything. And in this case, the function just console logs some text based on the conditions, right? So there's never a return statement in this particular function, but it does do something. It sends a message. So each time we ran it, we received a message on the screen in the console. If you want a value to be changed, you're going to have to use a return statement. So let's look at a function now that does return something. So new function, it's called setMagicStrength. So what I want to get out of it is a number that's going to be the strength of magic for a particular character, say in a game, right? So I'm going to get the magic out of it, the number that represents the magic strength, with a return statement. So the return statement comes at the end of the function, and the other instructions in the function test the values of the parameters. Whatever we put into the function, things are manipulated in the instructions, and at the end we have a new number for magic. Notice that magic is a new variable that's set inside the function. So magic didn't exist before, so we set it here to 0. We test certain things, and if it were a real game, there would probably be a lot more than just 2, right? And then the result comes out as the value of the variable magic. So to call this function, I'm going to call it this way. And it's important to notice I am setting a new variable called magic strength outside the function. And I make that equal to the function and 3 brand new arguments that I'm going to put into the function. So what I'm saying here is whatever this function returns, whatever that value is, put it into this variable that I'm making right here. So when I press enter, it just says undefined, right? Because all I've done is store something in this variable. In order to get it out, well, in a game, I would probably use it, right, to see if my magic strength was greater than my enemy's magic strength or something like that, right? But for us, in a lesson, we'll probably just console log it. So let's do that. Let's console log a message that tells us that number that was returned. And the reason it can tell us this number is because we used the variable that was set here, which got its value from what was returned. Now, the important thing to understand about returning values out of a function is that if you don't return anything, then there's no value that can be used. And we're going to talk separately about using global variables outside the function. That's a different video. When you want to produce a value, whether it's a string, whether it's a Boolean, true or false, whether it's a number, whether it's a list, whether it's a set of numbers, an array, you can use a return statement within the function, usually on the last line, and then store it, catch it in a new variable when you call the function. So that is how return statements work. They give you a value that can be used outside the function. Otherwise, with no return, the function does not produce any value that can be used by anything else in your program. It may produce a side effect like the previous function where we console logged some messages. So we printed a statement, we printed some text, but we did not output a value that could be used.